Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another domain dissection profile. Today we've got an interesting one for you, one of my own design for once. I'm actually making my own decks, and today we are talking all about Psychic Processor. Now if you don't know what this card is, this card came out a little while back and it's a really cool card. If you banish it when you control it, you can special summon up to 2 Machine, Psychic, or Cyberse monsters from your hand. They can attack directly, and during the standby phase, you get this card back to your hand if it was banished, aka by its own effect. So, what's really important about this is that it's not level specific, so you can crank out giant machines to do giant damage really quickly. So, for there, we've got a whole suite of archetypes that I'm going to show you all in here. To start off with, we've got the Machinas. Now this one cannot be summoned. Ruin Force must be special summoned by its own effect, but if you've ever been on Master Duel for long enough, you've probably heard of Ruin Force FDK. This card is really easy to bring out over and over again. And especially being a level 10 machine monster, that's really good for Xyz plays later on in a domain grind game. If you don't know what domain format is, it is 4-player, singleton, 60-card Yu-Gi-Oh! With a Deckmaster. I highly recommend checking out. There's a whole ton of resources, a whole ton of places to do it, and there's even a Discord server. But with that portion out of the way, now that we're moving on, we've got Night Express Knight. It's just a normal summonable level 10 monster, and we can normal summon it without tributing, but its attack and defense becomes 0. Oh, sorry, just its attack becomes 0. Oh, big whoop, it's a 3k defense monster in attack position. Anyway, we have Enter Machina Carnord, aka Carnot the Eternal Machine. It cannot be special summoned, or cannot be normal summoned. It must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard during a duel in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in hand or graveyard. If you have 3 opponents, there's a high chance that happens. And it has a monster effect on a field, but the important part is that this card recycles itself. Especially when you're using it for rank 10 machines, it'll go back to the graveyard where you can just summon it again on a following turn. And if it's into the graveyard, except from the hand or deck, shuffle it into the deck. So what's really nice is that you can use this in tandem with a bunch of other cards. It will actually go back to its under an Xyz monster and sent to the graveyard, but this card recycles itself anyways, and in domain, recursion is very important. Now, we've got more Machina Citadel. If your Earth machines are destroyed, you can summon this card. We've got Super Express Bullet Train, Derek Crane, Goldilocks the Battle Landscaper. This card's very funny. You have to summon it to the center zone or it blows up, but then from there, you can move it all across the field and destroy your opposing opponent's monsters. We have a bunch of Kozmos. We have Machina Metal Cruncher as a backup Machina Gear Frame. We have Kozmo Dark Destroyer. We have a Therion suite. Yes, the Therions are really good for this because of one simple card down here, Endless Engine R-Gyro System. Now, remember when I said how recursion is important? This card is all about recursion. You send a Therion from deck to graveyard, and then on a following turn, if it's in your graveyard, you can target a Therion and itself and add one of them to your hand, place the other on the bottom of the deck. When you're doing searching, bottom of the deck doesn't mean as whole much, but from here you can get out your Therions from the deck and on following turn bring them back to your hand, and this card goes back in the deck to be used later on if you draw it. Really nice. Now we have a suite of Mekk-Knights. We've got Duke Yule, who's a psychic, by the way. We have King Regulus the Machine. Very nice little suite. We have Indigo Eclipse, and we've got Blue Sky down here. Now, in a 4-player game, you're only ever going to be opposing one opponent, but from there, you can actually take advantage of it and just have more big beaters. The idea of this deck, that's not clear yet, is smash your opponents into dust by use of Psychic Processor, letting you have direct attacks with giant 3k beatsticks. This deck is very offensive, but it still can back up with a lot of bulk. We have cards like Kochibo's Hanamatsuri, which is another recursive machine support card. You can use this to become any level of machine you need, overlay, and because it's not being sent from the field to the graveyard, because it's an Xyz material, it won't banish itself. So you can do this again on the following turn over and over. We have a whole suite in the X deck I'll get to in just a minute. We've got a Kozmo Dogfighter, because if you've never seen this card in Limited, it stacks up quick. And especially in a 4-player format, there are 4 standby phases for every one of your turns, meaning you're going to get a whole suite of Dogfighter tokens, which you can use for link plays, or you can just have as, again, more bodies. That is so valuable in this deck. We have Slip Rider, we have Dark Lady, we have Wicked Witch, Good Witch. All of these cards, very good, very utility based. We have Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede, another Earth's Machine card that can revive yours and become different levels. We have Machina Uncla Spare, which is our gear frame search target of choice. We have Possess Storage for revival, and the new Morganite cards. So if you don't know what Morganites are, they are a series of cards relating to Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, who's actually part of the Sinful Spoils lore, which is really funny. And this card says, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish a Morganite spell from your graveyard, negate that attack, and if it's normal or special summon, you can add a Morganite spell from deck to hand. Finally, if you have 3 or more Morganite spells with different names in your graveyard or banishment, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls to 0. We only care about one of those effects, and it's the search effect. This card is the only monster in the deck that is not a Machine, Psychic, or Cyberse, but it is a dark, so we're still allowed to play it, and it is definitely well worth playing. We have Kozmo Farm Girl, we have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit because it's a great little psychic utility card. It's a hand trap, of course. We have Kozmo Strawman, Kozmo Tin Can, who's going to get our Cosmos online very easily. It's a psychic, so we have Emergency Teleport for all of these cards, actually, that are psychics. We have Duster, and here we have the first of the 3 Morganites we are playing, Time Tearing Morganite. You can activate monster effects in the hand, draw 2 cards instead of 1 for your normal draw. You can conduct 2 normal summons per turn, and you can banish this card and discard another Time Tearing Morganite. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon. Now, that last effect is totally useless because, again, singleton format. But those first 2 effects, the drawback is fine. We have Ghost Ogre, which, fun fact, can be activated on the field unlike the other Ghost Girls. Here, we can use Guilt Gripping Morganite as well. You can activate monster effects in the hand. You can normal summon level 5 or higher monsters without tributing. You do not pay life points to activate spell and trap cards. That last effect doesn't come up as much in this deck, but the other ones do to a great degree. Finally, we have End Exalting Morganite. You can activate monster effects in the hand. Monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, and if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicts is doubled. You can banish it from your graveyard, add a Morganite from deck to hand, any card, by the way, including Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So you can easily crank out a metric ton of damage through a couple of different means. Psychic Processor bringing out your big bozos, that's the word, your big bozos, and then you can just swing in double damage from Morganite and easily kill an opponent, especially with something like a Juggernaut Live. We have Machina Redeployment to get us to all of our Machina combos, World Legacy Succession because it's just a good card with the Link monsters we're running. We have Urgent Schedule for our Earth Machines, Pot of Acquisitiveness, which can shuffle our banished monsters back into the deck should any of them be banished for a reason we don't want them to be. We have Emergency Teleport, which can bring out all of our Cosmos, like Tin Can, which is another way our monsters are banished, or just a million other things, mainly the Cosmos though. We have Soul Absorption, which if a card is banished, gain 500 life points. This is just a generally good card in Domain, but also, again, our Cosmos. The Cosmo is the core of some of this, because a lot of these cards banish themselves to keep the cycle going. If it's destroyed, you ban the ships, the high-level ships. If they're destroyed, you can banish them, special summon a level 7 or lower Cosmo, special summon one of your weaker Cosmos. And the pilots can banish themselves from the field on a quick effect, speed, to special summon a higher level Cosmo from your hand, including other pilots, funny enough. But here we have Ebon Sun. Now, if you've never seen Ebon Sun, this card is great in Domain. It has 3 very good effects. You gain life points if your monsters are destroyed by battle or card effect. If a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can target one of them. It gains 1,000 attack. That's why we have a couple of Reborn cards in this deck. And if a spell trap card is discarded from your hand to the graveyard, you can add it to your hand. That doesn't come up as much in this deck either, but it's nice to have. We have Cosmotown, another great Tin Can search target, because fun fact, this thing doesn't have to search monsters. Cosmotown itself can also work to get other Cosmo cards. But we have Therion Disc Coliseum as another field spell option. Finally, Return from the Different Dimension, again to bring back our Cosmos, because this Cosmos cycle is just going to go on through as much of the duel as we can get it to. And then later on, we can pay half our life points, summon back a bunch of Cosmos, and again, swing in for a ton of damage. That is the name of the game. We have Machina Overdrive, which can target any machine, destroy it, and summon a Machina monster with a different name, which can also trigger our Cosmo ships, as well as a lot of our other stuff. We have a recycling effect in the graveyard, which is really nice. It's generic to all machines. We have trap tracks to destroy our Cosmos or any other monster and get these traps like Overdrive, or Storm Dragon's Return. This is a nice combo. You can go Trap Tracks, destroying something like a Kozmo Dark Destroyer, setting Storm Dragon's Return, trigger the Kozmo Dark Destroyer, banish it, grab something like a Forerunner, and then Storm Dragon's Return can summon back your Kozmo Dark Destroyer, triggering it, which is really, really nice. We have Cosmojo. You can target Kozmo you control, destroy it. If you do banish a card your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Again, we want to keep these Cosmos popping. We have Jar of Avarice, which is a great domain staple. This card recycles any 5 of our cards and draws us a card, which is really, really nice. And finally, we have Double Hooking. We're going for big damage, so we want to see a lot of monsters. One discard is not going to be that big of a deal when we're summoning 2, 3,000 or 2,800 or whatever beat sticks that we can swing in with. Finally, the extra deck. We have a Chaos Angel, but this does occasionally come up. If you don't know, you don't have to actually use a tuner monster for this because you can treat a light or dark you control as a tuner. Just do the math yourself if you find yourself playing this deck. There's lights and darks, level 5s, level 3s and level 7s and all that. There's a whole ton of combinations. We have Zeus. This deck gets to run Zeus. You can wipe 4 fields with a Zeus activation, which is really, really cool. If you don't end up killing with our next card, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Lai Bei, you can just make a Zeus and clear the board. You will be a huge target, but you can do that. We have Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, which can help start off our Lai Bei kills by burning someone for 2,000 damage and then overlaying onto the Juggernaut Lai Bei and becoming a 6,000 attack beatstick. We have Gigantic Champion Sargass, which can be made with Spring Ends monsters, but we can also just make this as a rank 8. That's our goal here. We don't actually have any Spring Ends monsters. We have Dingirsu, the Orcus of the Evening Star, another great level 8 machine. We can send a card on the field to the graveyard, and we can protect our monsters, or we can attach a banished machine to it as material to put it back in the grave later on, because of things like our Cosmos. We have Cyber Dragon Infinity. That's right, we are playing Infinity and Nova because we have level 5 machines, so we can take big advantage of that. We have Infinitrack Riverstormer, which can search our Earth machines, which is a good chunk of our deck, and we can use this for some consistency. We are not actually playing Infinitrack, Goliath, the Link one, but we are playing a couple of other machine links. We have number 27 Dreadnought Dreadnoid. This card may seem a little weak, and it is, but we do need a rank 4, and this is one of the best rank 4s I could think of to continuing our main goal of giant beatsticks. So, finally, here we have Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avramax, which if you don't know, crazy card. It is a Cyberse, sadly, but it is a light, and Cyberse is in our Psychic Processor deck. We have World Regalia Demiurgear, aka World Gears of Theriological Demiurgy. I need to really be looking at those names instead of the card art, even though these cards are old. 3 level 5 or higher monsters. Now, this card is not the strongest in the world, but it is a 3,500 attack immune to monster effects card, which is really, really nice. If we summon it using 3 monsters that have 3 different types, we can destroy all of the cards on the field. That doesn't really come up very often, but the important thing is for something like a Dogfighter, which if you notice I mentioned earlier, we can actually summon this card rather easily, which is really, really cool. We have Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star, 2 monsters including a Mekk-Knight monster. We have a few options for that. If it's Link Summon, you can discard a Mekk-Knight or a World Legacy, add a World Legacy from deck to hand. We have our 1 search target for World Legacy Succession to revive whatever we discard if we want to, or anything else. And if your Mekk-Knight battles a monster in a different column than it, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle, also you take no battle damage. What's really nice about this is that there are 5 other columns on the other part of the 4-person field that no monster will be able to eliminate this card with. So it's a very sticky Link monster that we can take good advantage of. And this works with Riverstormer as well. So we can revive our Mekk-Knight of the Morningstar should it get outed. Finally, we have IP Masquerena, because of course, a Dark Cyberse deck, any deck that wants to make these Link monsters, especially Avramax, is gonna want IP Masquerena. We are not playing SP Little Knight. Apologies, we are not playing SP Little Knight for the sake of it's a huge risk to commit our big bodies to something like an SP and then have to handle it and protect it, and we've already got enough on our plate with being a target because we can spit out a ton of damage. And one card I did not mention, Wallow, founder of the Drudge Dragons. This is a not domain staple, but is a very well-known card in the domain community because the way it works, monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard. This applies for all 3 of your opponent's graveyards. So all of your monsters, if you can summon this card, including Wallow, will become even bigger, which is amazing for our game plan, especially on something like a Juggernaut Libe, which can deal even more damage. So, with this whole strategy in mind, I highly recommend giving this deck a try. It is very fun in the testing I've done with it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, thank you all very much for watching. Please subscribe down below, like and all that YouTube stuff, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.